What's going on, guys? Tips Gamers here. We're going to talk about Clemson 2023 football commits here. And you got Peter Woods, who just committed yesterday. And this guy's a beast. Where's he from? Oh, boy. Ooh, where's this quarterback from right here? This Christopher Vizina. 5-star, 34th in the nation, and 6th best quarterback in his class. And he's from Alabama. So they're taking it to Alabama, and they're taking it to Georgia. I mean, they ended up getting how many guys from Georgia? Is that 8? Oh, boy, look at this. Vic Burley, D. Lyman, stealing from Georgia. Now, Georgia's still doing good, but Georgia just had also a decommit that went to Ohio State. Ooh, painful. They did it to Ohio State last year with the cornerback. Now it's happening this year with a cornerback. It's crazy. It's like payback. I don't know how they're doing all this. But anyways, you got Georgia there. You got Georgia with Jamal Anderson taking a linebacker from Georgia. Taking a D lineman from Georgia. And then you got, Terrell, cornerback from Georgia. Georgia. And there you go. They're just basically got a pipeline going from Georgia. And even some of the top ones, they got an executive pipeline from Alabama going straight to Clemson's front door. Hilarious. Not for Georgia and Alabama, no. It's not hilarious because Alabama just had a guy decommit and then go to Penn State. And it was a wide receiver, I believe. No, a safety. And yeah, I mean, Peter Woods is 23rd in the nation, 3rd best D lineman in the nation. Pretty amazing stuff. But they needed this quarterback yesteryear. That's when they needed him. That's the problem, is you're getting him now, and by the time he gets to where he's talented, you may have a few struggling years, which, you know, they got to figure out that quarterback position here because their quarterback, yeah, they could this year. They could have a guy pan out, but still Clemson is sitting into a spot where it's like, you know, they needed this guy a little bit ago and needed him to start getting good because you had that great run with quarterbacks, and then after Lawrence left, it was like, oh boy, who's the quarterback? So then, you know, you're bringing in really good guys too out of Texas, inside lineman. This guy's second best in his position there, offensive tackle, bringing in some good guys there. He's 16th, top 16. You got Anderson too, ranked 11th. You got Green, D lineman, another D lineman, needs to gain a little bit more size, but he is still big. This linebacker's got good, height, but the weight he will have to work on too. Ian Reed here from Austin, Texas is a big fella, 24th in the nation here. Terrell, good cornerback. So they're doing good on the cornerbacks. They're bringing in some tight ends. I do think that when it comes to Dixon here, I don't actually think that he is a 3-star. I don't, and the reason I don't think he's a 3-star is because, you know, these stars are made up, and none of these schools really go after the stars. They don't. Ohio State, Clemson, Georgia, Alabama, they don't care. And so they'll look at the stars and go, that's awesome, but then they do their own recruiting. So really when you start to look at it, okay, who are they getting offers from? Georgia, okay, Big Ten, Miami, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, you got Oregon, you got Penn State, you got Tennessee, you got Texas A&M. Okay, all those guys are not going to have a battle for a 3-star. They're just not. I mean, maybe if it's the end and they're like, hey, this is one of the only guys left and we need him, we need to fill a spot. But with this transfer portal as aggressive as it is, there's no reason to be this aggressive over a 3-star. And that's just not what they're doing. So you're seeing some big dogs come to the party to offer this kid a scholarship, and that just shows that more than likely he is a 4-star, in my opinion. So for their decommits, Miami came and raided them, and Miami picked up both Nathaniel Joseph and Reed Mikeska. I don't know how you say that name. Argue about it in the comments if I said it wrong. But anyways, these guys ended up decommitting and then committing to about a month from each other, a month apart. Committing to Miami, which is pretty intense that Miami pulled this flipperoonie on him. You know, Clemson thought they were safe, and then they're like, you're not safe. We're coming after you. And then you go to the guys that they're offering, the prospects that they have. You know, we can go to their actual prospects here. D lineman, looks like they're struggling there. Caleb Downs, this is not going to be as easy as you think because, there's a lot of people in the mix right now. Ohio State's definitely in the mix. You got Georgia in the mix. You got big players for this guy because he's the best at his position in the country. So there's some big boys coming to play in that game there. So Caleb Downs is a toss-up. Even Notre Dame's involved into that. Michigan's going to try, but I don't think Michigan's going to get it. So Hunter Osborne has a potential to go to Clemson. His visit was on June 3rd. The Auburn visit, June 10th. Tennessee, you got Texas, you got Bama. Who else do you got in the mix? You got Oregon. So he's now taken his schools and he has magnified them down and pushed off a lot of these other schools, is what it looks like here. And so now you're left with Auburn, Clemson, Tennessee, Texas, Alabama, LSU, and Oregon. A lot of NIL money. That's the other thing, too, is that people are not taking into consideration. You got Phil Knight money right here with Oregon. You got Alabama, who's getting pissed off because they got a guy decommit and went to Penn State. Okay, you got Texas, who's now getting involved, and they're throwing out their wallet. You got Tennessee. Okay, Auburn wants to get involved too. And then, Clemson is a big powerhouse right now. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But this is going to be tough, and I'm really curious to see where he goes. It would be great if Clemson picked him up for Clemson. Not for these other schools, but for Clemson, it would be good. And so, we'll see where he ends up landing. So Tyler Williams is an opportunity for Clemson. They're not favored right now. You got Georgia, who's favored. Clemson did have a wide receiver, like we mentioned, that decommitted, then committed to Miami. So Clemson really wants to just finish Georgia off. That's really what they want to do. They want to finish off Georgia, and, Georgia's sitting there going, hey, we can't get beat. So they're not happy. And Texas A&M is doing horrible in the recruiting trail. They're ranked 60th as we speak right now. They're ranked 60th. Texas A&M, they were number 1 last year. They're ranked 60th right now. So, and they got a lot of money. And South Carolina, I think, is the least favorite, if I were to guess, just by looking at these teams. But he did narrow it down, and it sounds like it's going to be a while until he actually announces his commitment. But this could change. Clemson has an opportunity to snag this guy. So we also have Ronan Hannafin. But looking at Notre Dame here, didn't talk about when he's going to actually commit. At least he has nothing scheduled. Bill O'Brien's going after him with Bama. Bill O'Brien is not as powerful as previous recruiters by Alabama, so there's that. But you got Notre Dame, and you have Alabama, and then Clemson. So Clemson can definitely turn this around here. But yeah, Notre Dame is still trucking. He actually played he was a 3-phase player with significant snaps at receiver, multiple spots on defense, and the return game. So, he's a pretty outstanding football player is what it sounds like. He is 16th in the nation as an athlete because of what he can do. So he brings a lot to the table, and you could definitely change this. Are they favored right now? No. But one good thing is at least Alabama isn't. If you're coming with Clemson, you want to at least take it from Alabama over Notre Dame. At least that would be my thought if you were a Clemson fan. Now for some good news for you guys is it looks like Robert Billings will end up being a safety for you. Yes, he's a 3-star. I understand that, and it's a little bit painful that he is a 3-star. However, take it with a grain of salt. You got Michigan coming after him. You got Miami. You got Georgia. Florida State. I mean, enough is said right there. These guys could have pulled off some of these schools and said, hey, we don't need you as much. The offer is still there. But, chances are he's probably not a 3-star. He may be a work in progress, a production player. But still, at some point in time, you got to be happy. And the other thing, too, if you're any one of these schools and you're not just a Clemson fan or whatever you are, understand this. When you're these big schools, the transfer portal is very, very massive. And that is something that you want to keep in mind. So I do predict that Clemson will, they'll be in the top 5 in recruiting. Not a shock there. I mean, Clemson's Clemson. They're going to be in the top 5 more than likely. I mean, they could drop out of it. They could have some decommits, some crazy drama that happens. But at the same point in time, I believe that this is a very good recruiting class. And if you're a Clemson fan, you should be happy. You're at least getting the quarterback that you need. I think that's the biggest thing is pulling in Christopher Vizina. I don't know if I'm saying your name correct. I have no idea. Argue about it in the comments below. But here's the thing. That's huge. That would be very, very nice to have for Clemson, to be able to bring him in and to be like, hey, we got a 5-star quarterback sitting there, and hey, we're bringing in all the other guys. We're bringing in the offensive linemen. We're bringing in the linebackers. We're bringing in the cornerbacks. We're bringing in the guys we need to bring in. We need to do better at wide receiver, but we're getting the guy that we needed to really get. So I think that Clemson's, they're churning. They're reloading right now, and they needed to reload really bad, especially after last season.
High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off from a break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives. You create thoughts. Never waste time. You got one shot. You got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9